Hey everybody, it's your boy Denko here. I finally had a chance to make a video about my controller settings. You guys have been asking me about these settings for the longest time, and I finally had a chance to make this video. So without further ado, let's get on with the video. Okay, so before I show you guys my controller settings, I just want to mention a few things. I am playing on a pretty much basic PS5 controller, nothing fancy. There was someone in my comment section who thought that, we content creators or whatever, we have these fancy PCs with these fancy equipment and whatever, but the reality is, for me at least, I'm playing on a basic PS5 controller, nothing fancy about that. There were a few people who actually thought that I'm using direct mode or wheel mode because of how sensitive the cars look when I'm driving them. Actually, I'm not on direct mode. I never really fully was. There were a few people who told me that I will be even faster if I used direct mode / wheel mode. I tried it for a week or so, but I didn't really focus on it that much, to properly learn it and practice it. So I just kind of quit because I had some videos to make about the new cars and summits and pro settings, so I didn't really have that much time to practice it. Maybe in the future, I don't know, but for now I'm sticking with normal steering input. For those that were curious, I'm not on wheel mode, direct mode, whatever. I know I mentioned in the past that I will never touch it, but I was thinking, and for demonstration purposes, I have to learn it and be good at it so I can demonstrate my pro settings and whatever, do ground races on wheel mode, direct mode, whatever. But other than that, I don't really see myself getting way too invested in wheel mode. When I first started making content, I wasn't really as competitive as I am right now. I just got carried along the way. I don't know how I came to this point, to be honest, but in all honesty, I never really planned to come this far, to improve and be faster and faster. That wasn't my plan. And I'm telling you this in all honesty, but I got carried away somehow and I became more and more competitive as each day went by. But yeah, that's enough of that subject. We will talk about it in another video. Right now we are here for my controller settings. Now, vibration, adaptive triggers, that's completely unimportant. What is important is the steering section here. As you can see, nothing fancy. I have the linearity on 50, dead zone 0, highest 100. That's the default settings that you start with when you first start playing MOTORFEST. Before every tower added direct mode and sensitivity and dynamic lock, I was actually playing with the linearity on 0, dead zone 0, and highest 0, because back then we didn't have these three new options, and me playing on all three options, 0, linearity, dead zone, and highest, I had this slightly more responsive feel. Nothing game changing, or there wasn't really a huge difference. You just had this twitchy feel. But after we got direct mode, sensitivity, and dynamic lock options, as you can see, I'm running default settings on the linearity, dead zone, and highest. So sensitivity is always on 90. Sensitivity, I'm playing with it, around. Sometimes I will bump it to, I don't know, 95 or 100. But other than that, for most of the time I keep it at 90. And the dynamic lock, I keep it on 90 as well. I tried going 100 on the dynamic lock, but on hairpins, especially with AGP, I felt that I'm losing too much speed. The wheels kind of lock themselves up a lot more. So I decided, to bump it up down to 90. Sometimes I might go to 85, but that's just barely happening, to be honest. But for the sensitivity, most cases 90. Sometimes I will bump it up to 100. To be honest, the Agera decides which sensitivity I'm gonna play with, because if I bump it to 100, then I have to, slightly adjust the pro settings on the Agera, because it's very, tricky or difficult card to handle. I'm sure most of you already know that. But I found the pro settings for the Agera that work with my controller settings as they are right now. So I will definitely have the pro settings for the Agera as well. I know I've been saying it for like a week now, but I was trying to, upload the pro settings for the newer cars that we got. So yeah, that's about it for the steering. Nothing fancy, as you can see. Now let's go to the throttle and brake. I keep these as default. For those that don't know, you won't feel any difference with the throttle and the brake if you play around with these settings. For me personally, I try to bump down the linearity on the throttle to even 0 sometimes, and even highest I will go to 50 or I don't know, 30 or 0. The only difference that I noticed is that when I'm guttering, I'm getting out of the gutters way more easily. I'm not guttering at all. It's what I'm trying to say, because the throttle feels so sensitive that I have no control over the acceleration or gas or whatever. So that's why I keep it as default. I didn't touch it in a while, and I probably never will. As for the brake as well, didn't feel any difference. If you guys think that if you play around with the throttle and brake settings, they're gonna make you faster, they won't. You're just, you will have no control how much you throttle, how much you brake. So my best advice is just keep it as default as it is. So that's about it for my controller settings. Nothing fancy, as you guys can see. For those that thought that I'm on direct mode or real mode, I'm not. I will say it again. Most of it is just my pro settings and how I tune my car. Pro settings actually matter in the Crew MOTORFEST, whether you're doing grand races or just time attack or whatever it may be. Pro settings on most cars do matter. And yeah, that's about it. There were a few questions from some of you guys about the difference between wheel and direct mode. From my understanding, they're both pretty similar. It's just that with actual wheel mode, you don't have any steering dead zone. With direct mode, you have a little bit of dead zone. But if you want to, learn more about that, I can try to make a video and elaborate further, so you guys can, I don't know, practice it or learn it or whatever your goal is. there were questions about smooth steering and tap steering as well from you guys. Basically, with tap steering, you lose more speed, especially if you're going on higher speed corners. But with smooth steering, you're keeping your pace better. You know, you're not losing that much speed. So I will definitely 100% recommend to every single one of you to practice smooth steering. It's game changing, trust me on this. Now I do, you know, use tap steering when I have to. For example, in rally raid, when I have to make, you know, small adjustments and stuff. But for most cases, I use smooth steering. It's game changing. You guys have to, you know, practice it. And you just have to have this mentality, whether you're practicing direct mode, smooth steering, whatever it may be. You just have to have this mentality that you're not gonna get immediately good at it. You know, it's gonna take you maybe a week, 2 weeks, whatever, until you get the feel or the hang of it, you know, so you can start improving and improving. You just have to have this mentality, because if you think that you're gonna get immediately good at it, whether it's wheel mode or smooth steering, then that's just gonna make you quit immediately. You know, that's just a little tip from me. And that's how I actually, you know, start practicing about whatever it may be. I don't know, direct mode, wheel mode. You know, you just have to have this mentality. Okay, this is gonna take me a week, 2 weeks, whatever. Or even if it works for you, you can, you know, set yourselves some goals. Okay, for example, my goal is to learn wheel direct mode in a week, whatever, you know. And that's the best tip that I can give you if you want to start practicing smooth steering, direct mode, whatever it may be, guttering, NOS management, whatever it may be. That's just the mentality for that. So yeah, that's about it, guys. As you guys saw, nothing fancy. I'm using, like I said in the beginning, I'm using basic PS5 controller, nothing fancy about that. I don't have, I don't know, some pro gaming controllers or whatever. It's just a basic PS5 controller. I was using my Xbox controller before I switched to my PS5 controller. The reason why I stopped using my Xbox controller is because the dead zone was getting crazier and crazier, and it was just, you know, horrible, and I couldn't even drive anymore. There was steering delay, dead zone, stick drift. It was just a huge mess. So I decided to put my Xbox controller to the side, and I picked up my PS5 controller. And yeah, I'm on my PS5 controller right now. Completely basic PS5 controller, nothing fancy about it. That's about it. So I should have mentioned this a little bit earlier, but it all depends in what kind of settings you guys are used to play. More sensitive, less sensitive. My advice would be, if you're guys not used to sensitive settings, my advice to you is you can start from, you know, from the lowest sensitivity and bump it by 5 every time you, I don't know, do a run or, you know, practice lap or whatever. That's how you will get used to it. You know, just start from the lowest and aim for the highest sensitivity that you can handle. But for most cases, I'm used to sensitive settings, whether I'm playing racing games, FPS, whatever it may be. I've always played in high sensitivity settings, so it was easier for me to get used to, you know, these controller settings in MOTORFEST, because you know, like I said, I always play in high sensitivity, no matter which game I play. So that's about it. We are at the end of this video, and if you have any other questions about whatever it may be, I don't know, feel free to leave a comment down below. I will try to explain and elaborate and help as much as I can. so you guys can you know, improve and improve and improve. With that being said, thank you all for watching, thank you all for subscribing, for commenting, liking, sharing, for everything. I appreciate it. It means the world to me. I will catch you on the next video. Peace out.